What is going on today, guys? AU here, and today I'm bringing you the team that I got to the top 3 on ladder with. If you didn't see my post from a while, like earlier this week, late last week, I actually hit number 3 on the rank ladder with this team, and I was gonna keep it kind of on the down low. This is gonna be a pretty long video. If you're not here to watch the team breakdown, I will put up a timestamp right now for when the battles start. But this video is gonna be pretty long because I'm gonna have the team breakdown and battles all in one video, because it's kind of last minute. Because like I was saying, I was planning on keeping this team kind of under wraps, but since then I've actually started playing around with a new team that I actually think is I like a lot better than this team, and I've been winning pretty consistently with it. It needs some tweaks here and there, but I think that overall it's a better team than this team. So I am releasing this team. You might have seen it on Reddit. If you saw it on Reddit and you saw that team breakdown and you don't want to listen to this part, like I said, just go ahead and go to the part in the video where you can watch the battles. If you didn't see it on Reddit and you're here for the team breakdown, then we're about to jump right into it. But like I said, I hit the top 3 on the ladder with this team. It's super good. If you've been watching my channel a lot recently, you'll see a lot of these Pokemon are kind of sprinkled into the teams that I've been putting out lately, and that's because I've been building up to the point to where I am releasing this team. So if you are new and you like what you see, go ahead and like and subscribe. And also, I'm loving the comments that you guys are leaving me. I'm getting a lot of constructive criticism, and I really appreciate that. It helps me know what to do to make the videos better for more people to watch, because we really want this channel to grow, and we want it to be informative for all the people that are watching it. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this. And surprise, 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 you see Vanillix. Now Vanillix is been featured in about like 4 or 5 of my, I think 4 of my teams now, including this one. Same Vanillix set as every other team: Focus Sash, Snow Warning, Aurora Veil, Blizzard, Freeze Dry, Protect, max special attack, max speed, 4 HP. Now, and it's timid. This is kind of what started this team idea for me. I wanted, I saw Vanillix do really good in a Galar Weekly, I think it was, and I really was like inspired by the use of Vanillix, because I used to really like Alolan Ninetales back in Gen 7. So Vanillix kind of fits that same role as a special attacker who can deal out a lot of damage and set up its own Aurora Veil with its own Hell. So here we have the same Vanillix that we've been running, and then you'll see the kind of progression of my thoughts as this team goes on. Behind Aurora Veil, Conkeldurr is a monster. I wanted something to really abuse Aurora Veil and have that bulky Pokemon behind Aurora Veil that can deal out a lot of damage, and that becomes a threat to the opposing team once they see the bulk that it has with the Assault Vest, the bulk that it has in its physical defense behind Aurora Veil. This Pokemon is just really, really unstoppable, especially when it's Dynamaxed. So this EV spread, you've seen before on the channel. This team breakdown is going to go kind of fast because a lot of these spreads you've seen before on the channel. This EV spread is EV'd to live a solar powered Charizard max Airstream. So if Charizard's in the sun and it gets the solar power boost and we're Dynamaxed and they're Dynamaxed, we live that max Airstream, and then we can max Rockfall them for the win on that 1v1. Now they're usually paired up with Whimsicott, so that is really good because we can break the Whimsicott Sash. We can bring in Vanillix and spam some Blizzards. So that's kind of the thought behind Conkeldurr. We've got Mach Punch, Drain Punch, Thunder Punch for coverage. Corviknight gives this team kind of a hard time, and then Rock Slide for, like I said, Charizard, and really any other fire types, like Torkoal or anything like that. And this Conkeldurr really is the Trick Room abuser of this team. Actually, this should be 0 IVs. I have 0 IVs in game. So it's adamant. It's actually not min speed, and I'm going to go through this because a lot of people ask me why I'm running 0 speed but not min speed, or 0 speed IVs but not min speed altogether. And that is because I like knowing that I outspeed other Conkeldurrs. There's nothing really between 45 and 50 that Conkeldurr needs to outspeed or underspeed in Trick Room. So at this point, I am playing towards the mirror matches of other Conkelders. So I know that outside of Trick Room, my Conkelder outspeeds theirs, and inside of Trick Room, their Conkelder outspeeds mine. So that can really affect the way I play, since I know that information and they don't. So they might be playing in a way that they think that we might be speed tying, and they might be making the most optimal plays for a speed tie, whereas I'm making the most optimal play for me outspeeding or not. So that's the thought process behind not running min speed Conkelder. So next we have the Whimsicott Expert Belt. You've seen this before. I actually want to put these 4 EVs in HP because that's how I have it in game. We have Expert Belt, Prankster, Tailwind, Protect, Energy Ball, Moonblast. Now, I get a lot of questions about why I'm not running like Taunt over Protect, or Trick Room over Protect, or Fake Tears, Charm, any other supporting move, and that's because this Whimsicott is not here to support at all. The only supporting it's supposed to do is Tailwind, that's it. Protect is there for fake out users, so if you can predict a fake out turn 1 into Whimsicott and then they double into that slot and you protect, you get momentum on your side of the field so fast and so easy just off of one play. So it's really easy to predict too. Like if they lead a fake out user, you pretty much know that they're gonna fake out in the Whimsicott because they don't want that Tailwind to go up. So you protect turn 1, Dynamax with Duraludon, or get some damage off with Cinderace, whatever your other Pokemon is on your other side. They double into Whimsicott, you still live the hit, so then you can get Tailwind up turn 2, and they're in a really bad position at that point. So like I said, this Whimsicott is not here to do anything other than set Tailwind, and after that it's there to deal some massive damage. There's a reason it's holding Expert Belt, and that's because Expert Belt Whimsicott deals massive damage. You can even bring it in the back for like a late Tailwind game and just start sweeping with Energy Ball, Moonblast, things like that. And you'll see we're running max speed, max special attack, 4 HP. Timid nature, nothing really special there. That's what most Whimsicotts are running. So you saw Cinderace in the video yesterday and the day before that, and it was actually Choice Band Cinderace. I like Life Orb Cinderace a lot more. The only reason it wasn't Life Orb in that video is because Haxorus had the Life Orb. Life Orb Cinderace is probably the best set because Cinderace, if it can OHKO things frequently enough and get Life Orb chip damage frequently enough, you can actually activate your own Blaze, which to me makes it super strong, which is why Solar Power Charizard is actually really strong too, because Charizard can chip it away at its own health all the way down to its Blaze. Or actually, I'm sorry, not Solar Power Charizard. G-Max Blaze Charizard could be really strong because it can do that same thing with Life Orb. But Cinderace, it gets Power Ball. Power Ball is a base 120 fire move. It's stronger than if it would Dynamax. Actually, I think if it Dynamax, it goes base 130, but it's Cinderace, you're usually not Dynamaxing on this team. You get High Jump Kick for coverage, Iron Head for coverage, and Protect. I was running Sucker Punch on the Cinderace. A lot of people were saying on my last video you should run Sucker Punch on Cinderace, but Sucker Punch on Cinderace was really underwhelming to me because having Sucker Punch on an already really fast Pokemon is kind of redundant to me. Like, your Sucker Punch should go on things like Conkeldurr or Scrafty or things like that that need that priority move to go first. Cinderace doesn't really need a priority move to go first. It will outspeed up everything in Tailwind, and most things outside of like Barraskewda, Inteleon, and Dragapult, and Excelgor. But I mean, you don't see Excelgor, so we're just running max attack, max speed, and like I actually want to put this in HP because that's how I have it in game. So I'm fixing this team to be exactly how I have it in game, because when I make the Pokepaste, I want it to be exactly how I have it in game. But Jolly, you'll see its max speed is 188. That's just super fast for this meta. And Cinderace's raw power overall is just really strong. It's got a relatively high attack stat, plus it's super good base, like it's super good moves. Base power, like 120 base power of Power Ball is just insane. Especially since the only other option is like Flare Blitz, and you get recoil damage from that. So Power Ball is like insanely good. People are really underrating Power Ball right now, but this is the Cinderace set. We have the Whimsicott Cinderace Grass Fire, and then next you see Gyarados. I added Gyarados because I wanted a water type, and I also thought Intimidate did this team very well because it makes it that much bulkier against physical type attackers. Now, We're running Lumberry, Intimidate. Lumberry because people like to burn Gyarados, and if you can waste a burn with the Lumberry, waste a turn on their end, then they'll just have to redo it next turn, and you can predict it at that point. We're running Waterfall, Bounce, Crunch, Protect. All those are for Dynamax. Now, Waterfall is to set Rain to make Gyarados stronger. Bounce is for Max Airstream. Crunch is for Max Darkness. Max Darkness decreases the opponent's special defense. That makes it to where Duraludon, Whimsicott, and Vanilluxe do a ton of damage. We're running Jolly, max speed, max attack, and like I said, this is going into HP. So that's pretty much all there is for Gyarados. He's there for the Intimidate support. You can Intimidate Cycle him against things like Rhyperior. He hits Rhyperior really hard. You can Dynamax him to get the Crunch or the max defense debuffs on the opposing Pokemon. You can get the max Airstream buffs on your Pokemon, or you can set Rain to make Gyarados super strong. And then last, we have a weakness policy Duraludon. The reason I went weakness policy is because we have Mach Punch on Conkeldurr, which we can activate our own weakness policy on Duraludon with. Duraludon behind Aurora Veil is really bulky on the defensive side, and that kind of makes up for his special defense being pretty bad. So running 252 speed, 76 special attack, just because actually I got this spread from Tutpup, I think, but he's running 76 special attack, modest, and then his HP and his 2 defenses. Those are, I think those are calced for a max Wormwind from Dragapult, while we're also max, but I'll have to relook at that. But just know that this spread lives a lot of things. So we have Flash Cannon to boost our defense while we're Dynamax. Thunderbolt, like I said, Corviknight gives his team a hard time, so we have Thunderbolt. Dragon Pulse for the max Wormwind, Stab move, and then Protect. And that's really the team right there. It's nothing too special. So now I'll probably go over the leads. The leads of this team are hyper offensive leads include Whimsicott Cinderace, Whimsicott Vanilluxe, Whimsicott Duraludon, Whimsicott Gyarados. Now this team is a really hyper offensive team, but the beauty of it is it can also be ran really defensively because Gyarados has good natural defense and Duraludon has good natural defense. So defensive leads would include Vanilluxe Duraludon, Vanilluxe Conkeldurr, and Vanilluxe Gyarados. Now, Vanilluxe Gyarados doesn't really come out a lot, but when it does, you can max Gyarados, set up Aurora Veil, get the special defense drops, and then just start blizzarding. Vanilluxe Duraludon is actually a very common lead. And the 2 most common leads are Whimsicott Duraludon and Vanilluxe Duraludon. Duraludon's really just a good opener, and then you'll usually have things like Conkeldurr and then either Cinderace or Gyarados in the back depending on the other person's team. So what I want to do now is I actually want to jump right into the battles with this team because I feel like you learn a lot more by watching the battles than just me sitting here talking about the team. So I'm going to catch you guys in the battles. Alright, so right off the bat we are hit with a Durant team. Now, Durant doesn't really give us a huge problem because we can deal with it with Cinderace, but we have to deal with Togekiss first. So in this particular team right here, they're either leading Togekiss Durant or Togekiss Snorlax. They could also lead Arcanine, but our lead here is Whimsicott Duraludon because we want to at least trade Tailwinds with them if they do lead Whimsicott. Now, Duraludon hits the Togekiss, it hits the Dragapult. It can do a lot of damage to Snorlax, so that's what we're leading. In the back, we're bringing Cinderace for that Durant. And then we're also going to bring Gyarados for the Arcanine. So like I said, Durant, Togekiss. And here, we just set up a Tailwind. And we want to boost our defense, so we're going to max Steel Spike Togekiss. It might be Berry, but that's not horrible. If they KO Whimsicott, then we can get Cinderace in for free. So we're both going to Dynamax. We get the max Steel Spike off, and it actually OHKOs. So they were probably weakness policy or some kind of recovery berry. And right here, he activates our weakness policy. So that couldn't have went any better on our side of the field. And here we're actually going to, I think we switch out Gyarados to get an Intimidate off, and then we max Wormwind the Arcanine to get another attack drop off, so we're really crippling that Durant on their side. So again, another max Quake off. It doesn't really do anything, but they are boosting their special defense, but that doesn't help them with the Cinderace that we have in the back. So we're going to Waterfall the Durant, and then here we just max Wormwind the Dragapult. And this game is probably going to come to an end. Well, the Dragapult's Sash, but that's not a huge deal. So now you can see we're just really crippling away at this Durant, and it's trying to do its best to get its attack stat back. But it's not going to be able to. We're just going to Waterfall again, and we're going to Flash Cannon the Dragapult. And they decide to forfeit. So right there you saw the really strong lead in Whimsicott and Duraludon, and how Weakness Policy Duraludon is really strong if you can set it up correctly. Now you saw me boost my defenses because I realized that Durant was the threat, and we needed to boost our defenses to be able to live those hits, and also max Wormwinding to lower his attack so we'll love his hits even more. So now we're going to jump into a second game. That one went by pretty quickly. If we can get a second one to go by quickly, we might even be able to get in a third one. So let's jump into another game. Alright, so here we have kind of a semi-Trick Room team. He could lead Trick Room, or he could also just lead probably Tyranitar Corviknight. So if he does have Tyranitar has the Sandstream ability, it looks like this Tyranitar could be unnerved, but if it has Sandstream, then that's going to be a problem for our Vanillux. So in this lead, I would probably lead, I'm going to lead Vanillux Conkeldurr and just Blizzard on the off chance that he switches in Tyranitar. And then in the back, we're going to go with Duraludon and Cinderace because Corviknight is actually going to give us a pretty hard time. So you saw what I did. I recognized the threats behind Gastrodon and Corviknight that usually give us a hard time. We have Freeze Dry on our Vanillux to deal with the Gastrodon, which is why I brought it. And then we also have the Pyro Ball on Cinderace to deal with the Corviknight. Now, we actually could just set up a Aurora here. I think we set up Aurora, and because he's not going to want to switch in Tyranitar on a Max Knuckle anyways, so something's going to have to take it. So, and if he does, then we probably pick up that KO while boosting our own attack. So we're going to set up Aurora, and we are going to Max Knuckle that Snorlax. So he actually Helping Hands, which is kind of weird to me. I expected him just to go straight for the Trick Room, and then he self-destructs. So we're at Sash, and he doesn't even do half to our Conkeldurr. So it was a good attempt, but at the same time, we dealt with that pretty well. We got the Aurora Veil up, so that self-destruct just did half damage. So here he leads Gastrodon. Here's where Freeze Dry is really good. We just Freeze Dry, and we probably just max Lightning just to get some damage off on that Dusclops. And excuse me if my voice sounds a little bit bad. My throat is kind of dry right now. It's super cold and dry here, so I'm doing my best to be able to talk as much as I can. So they do protect on Gastrodon, so they know we're going for that. They know we're going for that Freeze Dry, and they activate Guts. So that's another beauty. A lot of people say, why run Guts and the Assault Vest at the same time? Why don't you run Iron Fist? This is why, because people will freeze, or I mean, people will burn Conkeldurr way more than you expect them to. So that's the whole reason behind running Guts Assault Vest Conkeldurr. And Guts Assault Vest Conkeldurr actually won Dallas recently, and it did a really good in a lot of the top teams. So I personally really like Guts Assault Vest. It adds that mind game on, are you Iron Fist or are you Guts? So it looks like they're going to time out on this turn. So we get the Freeze Dry off, we OHKO the Gastrodon, and we get another Max Lightning off on the Dusclops, and this game is probably going to be a wrap right here. So this really showed off the, and I think even like a Mach Punch is probably. We're actually going to switch out in the Duraludon where we can reset the Hail when we come back in because his special defense is getting boosted right now. And then we're going to Drain Punch. So he Dynamaxes, he Max Quakes, we live it, then we Drain Punch, we get our health back, and it Okos. And we got all the health back. So you really saw that defensive lead between Vanilluxe and Conkeldurr there and how that can deal with the bulky Trick Room teams. I do think my opponent made a bad play going for that self-destruct turn 1. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. If I was him, I probably would have just belly drummed, but even if he belly drums, then we Oko him with the Conkeldurr at that point. So this team can deal with Trick Room, and even if he would have got Trick Room up, Conkeldurr would have been able to run through it because he is pretty slow under Trick Room. So I actually think I'm probably going to leave the video here. If you want me to do more battles with this team, I definitely will, but I don't want this video to run too long. We got the team build or the team breakdown at the beginning. We've got the 2 battles right here at the end. But yeah, definitely let me know if you want me to do more battles because I'm definitely open to doing more battles. I want as much information as this team can. I want as much information as I can get out about this team. So if I need to do another video on it, I will. But with that, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.